SonarFeed, episode 199.5, the final countdown. Welcome, everybody.
How's it going?
Oh, man, it's fantastic. Back, very happy to be back with the fellas here at SonarFeed, man.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, man.
And we've had the kind of on again, off again for a month or
Yeah,
so. So
that off-season
maybe it was
blues.
good. It's good to have a little break here and there.
Yes.
We're
But,
about to be
yes.
on season.
Yeah, it's going to be here on out, like at least once a week.
Let's go, man. I'm excited. Though, man. Hector.
Way to go, Hector.
Hector de la casa.
Good spelling, by the way, Mark. I got to appreciate. B-Dearth.
B-Dearth. God damn it.
Wow, that's actually really bad. You might want to fix that. Our producer, everyone, he did just drive here, and it only took 3 hours.
3 hours, dude.
From
can
Kirkland.
imagine. Man, that's why I never get on. Like I-5 always hit 99, high to 9, man. It's a little
I don't
around,
think Mark got on I-5 at all, actually.
No.
Yeah. Mark spent about an hour
On
going
Capitol.
from 520 across Capitol Hill, and then another truck broke down downtown.
Was it a taco
and that
truck?
ruined that. It was not, unfortunately. It was like,
Man.
thankfully it
It
wasn't
was APL.
awesome.
Shout out to that taco
uh,
truck, though, man.
And here we are. So we all made it somehow or other,
Yes.
except Aaron. Aaron is out there doing things.
Making that money.
So good on Aaron. We
Yeah,
miss
man.
him, but we will see him soon.
Miss you, man. Miss you. Get back. But make your
By
money.
the way, if he found a way to make money while watching his own children,
Right?
Oh, man.
I need
Brilliant.
to figure that out because
Yeah.
I'm about to have a lot of kids then. Because if that pays,
I think it's opposite, though. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it sounds like, but like having the children in the first place negates
Yeah.
the income. So like the income might go up, but the outbound dollars also increase.
Yeah. I wouldn't put all your
So be
eggs in
careful with
basket.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so welcome to SonarFeed. We've got a number of cool things to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
So before we get into it, we can go around the horn. I'll go first, I guess, because Mark's eating. I was going to toss to
Yeah.
him just to make it
You go
awkward.
on.
But I'm
man.
Tom Biro, a.k.a. Bougie Hooli. And across from me, not eating,
Hugo Garcia, a.k.a. Maybe the Seattle. And across from me,
also not eating. Dave Clark at Better Than, and
Not
finally,
better, not better.
finally not
not
eating.
B-Dearth.
yeah. Hold on, you got something over here.
Guys, that's like a month
I
of
saw
Mark
that
not
going.
shaving.
I love it, man.
I'm Mark, SSFC Fody 13.
Nice.
a.k.a. El Tigre. Oh, El Tigre Black Stallion?
Oh
Or
no,
Tigre
no,
Negro.
Negro, that's right. El
Wow.
Tigre Negro.
no.
Yeah, let's not go that at all.
No
Mark,
mas.
by the way, is we did draft Mark to my pub league team.
Really?
When did you get drafted? The 12th round? 10th round?
Number
Yeah.
47th pick.
47. Yeah. So you're going to wear number 47 this season?
No, it's still going to be 69.
Of course.
47
I'm
is-
shocked.
47
Nice.
is 74 in a way. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I'm just saying. I would
So
stick with
we'll get into
47.
numerology later on in the show. But speaking of that, did you? I watched. I hadn't watched the show before. Nacion on ESPN, and I don't know if it's on every day. I just picked it up on the stream this afternoon, and it's Latino staff,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much the same as like Sports Nation. But they tweak a couple things, and they have this one segment called Football versus Football, or Football or Football, whatever. Yeah, and this one was they did Gronkowski at the Daytona 500, which if you haven't seen the clip, it's
No.
like you can watch it, and then you're like, I don't get the joke. Oh, so it's Gronkowski or this keeper in like Mexico or Colombia who got hit in the face with this ball, and then the ball went in the net off his face. So like he
Oh my
saved the ball, the rebound went out to someone, he went off to the side of the net, they booted it right off his face into the net. And he's just miserable, on the
no
ground
question.
now after getting hit in the face. Anyway, but Gronkowski's talking to these women, and they're like the NASCAR.
They're the Monster Girls.
Yeah, so-
there's some huge controversy. over
So
that.
he's talking to them, and he's like, I just want to know what speed limit you really think is your favorite or something, and the woman's like, she says something like, I like going this fast or whatever, and he's like, oh, I was hoping it would be somewhere around 70. And the first time I watch it, it's not that I didn't get the joke, but I actually didn't think he was going there. Wow. And then it took me like 5 seconds, and then I was like, oh my God, Gronkowski. Dude. So their joke was, they were like, you're 14. Like Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, Gronk
he really is.
stuck it.
I can relate.
He really is stuck like
Yeah.
a 14
So
15.
yeah, the Monster Girls in the past, the NASCAR girls.
I mean, they've always
has been a
had
sponsorship.
people. Yeah.
They had a racing suit.
But they were in racing suits in the past. But the Monster Girls are in like booty shorts and tank tops.
I mean,
So
is
it's like
Daytona.
Hooters,
Yeah,
except at
with
NASCAR.
Monster gear
Okay.
in the pits. Like they're running the inner circle. It's
good times.
Like the VIPs.
I did
and
see
whatnot.
one
So
when they
there's
were
a little bit of-
interviewing Kurt Busch at the end of the race. She kept trying to move around to get on camera.
Yep.
It was actually
That's her
really
job.
funny. Yeah. It was pretty impressive.
So yeah, but some of the other NASCAR sponsors are like, that is not appropriate.
Yeah, well.
And it's
fact
kind of
that-
funny
You
because
know
I
what?
mean,
Everybody's talking about NASCAR when we never would have been talking about
Yeah.
it. So somebody's
Yes.
happy. Somebody's happy.
Definitely made a
Monster
move
is
today.
very
So
happy.
Yeah.
so let's so we can get
Alex,
into it.
Triple X. Alex.
We've haven't been here for 2 weeks, so a number of things. So we talk a little bit about the weeks that were. I mean, we've got a number of things we can go around. There's obviously been some play in various places across the country. We've had a few people end up in Vancouver, many of whom we know really well. So we can talk a little bit about that. And yeah, I mean, there's otherwise we're not seeing a ton of other movement. We had some hype
rumors.
around a particular player.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So we can dig into that.
I'm excited.
And what do you guys want to get started with?
I mean, we're talking the weeks that we're like going past 10. So
Yeah.
I would focus on the winless preseason, and it's time to panic.
Yes.
I am totally panicking right
that
now.
button is so closed.
I
So
have
close.
0% panic.
I
Yeah.
almost don't want us to. I don't want us to win a preseason game because we generally do pretty well.
Good news. Preseason's over, and they didn't
Yeah,
win. So
exactly.
you're
'Cause
happy.
We're going to do really well during the regular season.
But at the same point, they also didn't really.
Thanks,
you.
Katie.
Is that the same as what Ugo got?
No,
Katie?
no.
Is that the same as what Ugo got?
Hot toddy, yes, you could.
Okay, good.
Yes, you could.
I got the
Thank you.
liter IPA.
I'm good.
the best.
Ugo has a hot toddy in a liter glass,
didn't
and
fill
we
the
were just
liter
told,
in.
"quote There's a lot of alcohol in here."
But I got a bunch of ice next to it.
Anyway, so
So yeah, didn't win, but at the same point, George Morris, Clint Dempsey, and Nico Ladero played together for like 50 minutes, I think. Only is all. Like
That doesn't
it
seem
was
like a lot.
tiny amount. Like, if you're worried about the offense, don't. It was that. If you're worried about the defense,
Not work.
also don't.
The only game where they gave up more than a goal
I got Atlanta.
was Atlanta, where half the roster wasn't under contract, and half of those guys won't be getting contracts. So don't worry about it.
Not
It-
worried.
It's preseason.
Are you guys worried though?
Yeah.
Let me see in the comments because I
No.
want to make sure.
No one should worry. So the preseason's over, and we learned some things that are pretty cool. Clint Dempsey's going to play.
Yes. Yes.
How neat is that? Because
Dude, that
what were you 0% sure that he was going to play?
Yeah.
And it was a big question mark because like a lot of the season, the first half was going to rely on him and how productive he is going to be. I think, or I thought.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have Clint back. Won an MLS Cup without him, so the
Yes.
poor guy's been to like 4 MLS Cups. The 3 that he played in, they lost. I think that's what it is because he was only there for like half of New England's
Yeah.
That's pretty close
stretch
to
of
Buffalo.
being amazing without
Numbers
winning.
there.
First to 5.
Yes, that's right. They went to 5 and didn't win any of them. 4 way back in the day. He went to 2 of those. So he went to his 3rd MLS Cup. The 2 he played in, he lost, and then the one that he just had to sit in like the box seats, he watched his team win. So if you like angry Clint Dempsey,
So what you're saying is, if we were that Jim Cramer meme,
Buy,
Jim Cramer
buy, buy.
would be putting stock in the like angry Clint Dempsey meme.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
so that's like the number one thing to take from preseason. I mean, you basically got the best outfield player that America's ever produced back.
If you had to pick, like,
And he's
like your dark horse for someone that's going to make an impact out of S2 or drafted players, anybody that you say, you know what?
Oh,
Getting right into it.
Yeah, I
we're-
mean,
we're,
this is the
we're
second-
skipping down a couple levels. Like young kids.
Yeah.
Right now, I think Henry Wingo showed a lot.
Yeah.
That's the name
I-
I
Gets
keep
me
hearing.
excited.
That's the
That's
name
the
I keep
one
hearing.
I would, if I had to guess, I would say 3 of the 4 of us would probably say Wingo.
Yeah, that's what.
And the one that wouldn't would be just because he's anti-Husky at all opportunities.
He would probably say.
I have no problem with them.
I don't even know who he would say.
One of the interesting things about Wingo, and
I don't have a men's team at my college, so.
yeah, because you're awful.
Oh,
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, the Pac-12 is actually the Pac-6 when it comes to men's soccer.
And
Peores,
gymnastics.
Chile, y agua lejos.
So,
softball.
and one of the interesting things is Henry Wingo, when he was in college and in the academy, played kind of like Brad Evans did when Brad Evans was in the midfield.
Okay.
And now Henry Wingo is more of kind of Lamar Nagel's kind of attitude, where he's going direct at goal, looking to score. Might be a little
That's
more
what I wanna
technical
hear.
than
That's what I
Lamar,
wanna hear.
but like
Let's go.
he
Did you
sees
know
the
Lamar
goal
doesn't
and he's
live in Montreal?
running to the goal. Like he gets the ball, he wants to
He goes
score.
in hard.
So
I'm pretty
it's a
sure.
weird
he does.
conversion to go from kind of the piano carrier type to get to a more difficult level, and all of a sudden be like, nah, let's score goals now, because he had like 2 goals in his college career.
Yeah.
He has 2 goals in preseason.
Yeah.
No, that's
So,
great to hear. Though,
I did
because-
watch that GIF that Center at Heart posted. Maybe I probably let it loop like 47 times. The one of him like
Where that
ruining
poor Charleston
college-
keeper is
college kid.
yeah.
47.
College
He's at
Charleston
47
kids.
mark.
But I
He's
actually
47.
just sat there and just kept watching it. And I was like, "Huh, that
He
was a
slid
pretty good
off
move."
screen.
Wait, oh my gosh! It just
It was
and
brutal.
it just kept
Like,
going and
Wingo
going.
did this cutback move, and the Charleston defender, the College of Charleston defender, went right on by him, and then he's off screen because Wingo's bringing it center to score.
Hey, that sounds like
That's
me and Taylor Graham.
Yeah. I'm so excited to hopefully have Taylor Graham show up again and play Pub League
That'd be amazing.
just to like womp on people.
he's still big,
If he does, let
He's
me know,
like a
man.
foot taller than everyone on
Yeah.
the field.
but not only that, like he's still kind of broad and whatnot. Some center backs and keepers like lose their mass,
Yeah.
kind of like linemen do when they retire. I don't know that Taylor did that. Like I think he's into I'm a center back for life kind of. Like he still lifts, bro.
Let's go.
You know, like,
Taylor,
It,
We
it's
need you on
fun.
the show. Let's go. Make
By
it
the way,
happen.
I'm just seeing that Chris Daniels
Yeah.
tweet from earlier, which if you guys out there who are in and around Seattle haven't seen it, Chris Daniels, who's at Chris Daniels 5, earlier tonight posted a photo of Occidental in Soto and posted that it was one of the worst
traffic
nights in traffic history in Seattle, and there's literally no cars except the one he's in,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. So don't ever vacate a street like that.
Seriously.
Because
Seriously.
everyone goes there. And
There's-
Sally Bagshaw is walking down
Dude,
it right
it's bad.
now.
Like I use that street as my.
That's where you park for tailgates and stuff, right?
sometimes. Well, not that far out, but it's a really small like side street.
You
that
at least
I use.
use it.
I
right?
use it like
yeah.
anytime I drive to work, I end up using that because the connecting from First Avenue Bridge down to Soto, it has the connector from the West Seattle Bridge, so it like really jams up. So I take that little alley.
Go early down onto First and then back up
Yeah,
over on
yeah,
Occidental.
pretty much.
So you're like one of the 20 people who uses
Pretty
it every
much.
day.
Yeah, and that's only when I
There's
drive
actually
to work.
probably
which
Oh,
is
you don't
like
even
that.
drive to work.
But
I
you
do
just
anymore.
kind
once
of zip
a
through
week,
it.
maybe, or once every couple weeks.
That's right. You got
Usually
the
Mondays, actually.
because you can do the light rail.
Yeah, yeah. But I know exactly.
Traffic
what street.
talk on SonarFeed 199.5 FM Seattle.
.com.
Yeah.
Don't let me
Anywho.
forget that we should fill up when we go home.
We might need
I
to.
love the warning that WADOT put out today. And if you're low on gas, consider turning off your car.
We did stop on E.
Yeah, I had remember Snowpocalypse.
And by
back
E,
in,
I
like,
mean empty.
08?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, though.
No, like 08, where we got like 8 or 9
Oh, yeah.
inches in downtown
yeah,
Seattle.
yeah.
I was stuck between multiple car accidents, so I was originally trying to go up to 5 to get home from Soto.
Right.
And then I tried first, and my car was running, and I was on like a third of a tank to start the day, and eventually I had to turn around and go to the gas station
And start over.
because I was just like,
That's
oh,
awful.
I'm going to run out of gas and like die stranded on the road on First
I
Avenue.
hope at least there's a taco bus.
South to Soto, and we didn't. Yeah, that one we didn't have the good fortune to get the taco truck that opened up down the road.
Which is fantastic.
I love that. They were like,
Glorious.
"We're going to our normal day. We got all the food prep that we needed to."
Might as well.
Might as well.
sell
Yeah.
food.
That went national,
Yeah, I did.
so that's going to be great. Like,
Yeah,
Are you
can't beat
kidding
it.
me? That's the best.
Anyway, so we jumped right into who's going to make a difference from the kids, which I think that's probably the answer. None of us were expecting to have made 3 weeks ago.
Right.
I don't know if I would have said Wingo.
No way.
3 weeks
I
yeah,
would've
but,
been like,
I mean,
no.
they've got like 10 kids now.
Yeah.
And
Who would
you
you
know-
have said before?
Shea Adekoya has. Here's what's interesting. Shea Adekoya had a much better college season, but Shea Adekoya was the 3rd or 4th forward on the academy when he was here.
I remember.
He was behind a couple guys you may have heard of, George Morris, David Olson, who is now trying to make the Sounders roster. Dennis Calamar was another one, and Isidro Prado Huerta
Yeah.
was another that played forward that time. Satoshi Chafin. Like, Adekoya had a good year, but he wasn't the starter. David
Right.
Olson was in the academy. And so it's going to be interesting to see.
I hear Dom.
His
Dom is
conversion.
making a comeback.
I believe with UW, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting because they got a lot of kids. Like, they cut so many of the roster that were like 30 plus
Yeah.
and replaced them with homegrowns. And Harry Shipp. Harry Shipp, who's only like,
I was going to say, isn't he
No.
also still only like 20?
he's 25.
Five,
Yeah,
yeah.
And like my first interview with him, it was like, so how's it feel to be a veteran? He goes, I'm a what? I'm like, you've been in, this is your 4th year in the league.
Yeah, dude.
And there are 20 and 21-year-old kids now that are like, Harry, what do I do about such and like, we're on the road and I get per diem. What should I do with it? You know, those kinds of questions are going to come up. And Harry Shipp is one of the guys that answers them now.
Which is super fun.
It is.
he's
You guys think
25.
he'll be better than Taco?
What's that?
You think he'll be better than Taco?
Freeberg?
Yeah.
Well,
Ship. better than
shit.
Freeberg.
Well, Freeberg was more than. I mean, Freeberg essentially got replaced by a better Freeberg, Gustav Svensson, the Swedish national
Right.
team. Well, Freeberg had like 2 Swedish national team appearances. Gustav Svensson has 9.
Shout
They're
out to Alex.
more similar than
Thanks for coming down, dude.
Shipp
Yeah.
and Freeberg are. Shipp is going to be all across that band of 3. Like, he and Alvaro Fernandez are 2 guys that can play left wing, center mid,
Yeah.
right wing. Shipp's more that guy,
Okay.
more creative player that
Right.
adds value with his vision and his passing.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
He went down for 2 weeks, so Alvaro Fernandez is like, I'm starting now. Flacco's played well.
Flacco's
trains
played
well.
Yeah. I was
He's
impressed with Flacco so far.
his effort in defense is one of the things that distinguishes him from a Shipp or a Will Bruin.
Yep.
And
I think that's a South American trait. A lot of them just don't, they play as hard on the going back as they do going forward, man.
one of the things I got to interview him without my translator handy.
Hit me up.
And you know just enough words to be dangerous.
No, I did it all in English and had somebody else translate. But I asked him, I'm like, so you're like a defensive mid in the past couple years down in South America, and could you do that here? His response was, well, I like to play there better, but we have 2 of the best in the league here, so I don't really need to do that. So to me, one of the things that he has done as he's matured is become much more interested in defense. And now that he is like a key component and has trained here and all that. It's going to be interesting to see how he converts to being a regular starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might not. I mean, he's not going to put up goals like he did in 2011, but I think that he's going to have kind of that dramatic increase that he did in quality and comfort with the roster that he had from 2010 to 2011. Yeah. That offseason helped him out tremendously. And I think he's going to have kind of that increase in value, not in goals this year, but I expect to see something like 4 or 5 assists, 3 or 4 goals, which is going to be handy.
Oh, yeah. No question.
You know, they've got Will Bruin and Harry Shipp. I'm really confident.
I forgot about
I gotta say though,
Will.
like
I forgot about
it's not that it's not that a lot of the mids are fast players. When you like look at the league, you're not oh my gosh, those guys are all speedsters. The midfield right now feels faster to me than last year. It does. I think when you talk about like Ivanchit and some of the other players, maybe it's just that it's more fluid, and
definitely
the
more
passing's different.
fluid.
And I think
It's
you're going to see
crisper.
more movement off the ball that we may not have seen with
And that's
some
one
of
of the things
prior
I've really
players.
liked about Alvaro in the preseason.
But I'm saying you're
games that
moving
we've
up the
watched, is
field
he-
a little more aggressively than maybe we have before
Yes.
in non-Ladero only moments.
Yeah, one of the things that Alvaro did really well in the past couple games is, whereas last year he would always check back for the ball, this year he's running forward to make himself available.
Yeah.
And he's got Joe Jones right behind him, and both of those guys like to sprint back and play defense, so if there's turnovers, they can do that. They work well together. And last year, remember, Alvaro was the Nico replacement. When Nico was out, Flacco
Right.
was supposed to control the offense. And that was a very different role for him, and he was mainly on the right, trying to work with Tyrone Mears. Now he's pretty much the left-sided guy. Gustav tried to find him for that back post header, and I love Flacco on a back post header. It looks like what he's trying to do rather than score this year, though, is knock it down to Morris and Dempsey in the box, which I'm okay with because I'd rather have a knockdown header at like the 6 to Jordan Morris or a Will Bruin or a Clint Dempsey. That's going to do well.
Right. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels like
They're crisper. I don't know if they're. I mean, it's
faster
not that
maybe
they
is
were
not the right
fast.
word. It just feels like the ball
More
moves
precise?
forward.
The ball
more
might be
quickly
faster. The players
with-
aren't
Yes,
faster.
But I'm saying we're moving the ball. We're advancing the ball a little bit more
Precise.
quickly.
Yeah.
Precisely. Maybe that's the word. It just feels like a little bit more than a lot of the dump and chase and things. Now, also, you're looking at a completely different team. Like 3/4 of last season was just miserable, and then you had Ladero time.
Just
you know,
half the
and it was
season
just a
was
whole
miserable.
other.
Just half.
Yeah, it was
17 games of 34. So
okay. There was some not awesome. Well, we're in August, I guess it was when it really started to get good.
Well, yeah.
There was what, right at the end of
yeah.
July.
With playoff, it was an even split when you
With and
include the
without.
playoff games.
Right.
So
Oh, that's
whatever,
right.
like
Okay.
21 to
I'm-
21.
Forget the
So,
playoffs
yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
So anyway, it just it feels to me just watching
Gonna hold
play.
this all night.
I know. I'm sorry.
It just feels a little bit more smooth. Is maybe
No, that's for me. I agree.
Yeah.
I use the word precise. I see him getting back on counters quicker and just getting to an attacking play, not just a lob. Like they're just making
it's like
passes and getting.
Ladero first showed up. I mean, we were joking. We talked about this a couple times, but a bunch of us were in Vegas watching on TV.
Yeah.
And we were joking that it was Ladero's first game, and that he was like writing the names down of the players that were missing these perfect through balls that he was putting up. And like they quickly all caught on. But like now you're gonna, we joked about that, the what is the fully functional space station kind of thing. It's like now you have that. You've gotten younger. You've changed a lot of the players. You have Ladero after getting a little bit of a break, and so on and so on and so
Yes.
on. You have a Dempsey who's had a ton of time to rest
I can't wait.
and looks like he's jacked and ready to play. It's going to be really interesting to see when they're not. It's not like preseason. Let's see who plays well with other people, and that's. I would say this is the least panicked I've seen people. There's still the like erratic, stupid comments going on here and there from like preseason
Well, it's mostly
standpoint.
people mocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most
Mocking
part,
an opinion that
I don't
doesn't
know, man.
exist,
So
Eric.
we've seen like a random game that you knew you were going to get destroyed in, and the world is falling kind of thing. And like people right now are like, yeah, it's preseason, don't care. And it's nice to come in off like a championship high and see it actually like roll out a few months. So we'll see
excited,
come
man.
Saturday. Anyway,
Saturday at Houston. Yeah. I was going to say about the over-the-top balls and who's going to chase those down. Henry Wingo can obviously do it. Jordan Morris can do it. And unfortunately, he's been injured most of the preseason, is Aaron Kovar. One of the few things that was great, Kovar had in the first half of the season, started 9 of 10 games near the end there. And during the end of that, they decided to
Put him at forward.
use his really good speed,
Yeah.
kick it over him. He would run onto it, and then he'd do a cutback pass. If we can get that Kovar back,
Man. That'd be dope. Is it his back still?
I believe it is a groin. They've been quiet about, and it happened in like the second day of training. But kid's good. He had some fun training with the Cardiff City,
Yeah.
and some Scottish club that doesn't matter.
who's at Hibernians
Yeah, as I said,
Yeah.
So, quick question.
for like a minute.
not the big two.
Knowing the whole, time period that Dempsey has gone away, this is just kind of like a fun question. Does he get 10 plus goals this year? Yes or no?
There's no. Dempsey's on the field. Dempsey on the field scores goals. So I don't
10?
know that.
Yeah. Or what are your
His-
what is if
His
he's on the
two
field?
full seasons with the Sounders, he did back-to-back 10 and 10.
But that was like a 2-headed monster. This is like a 5-headed monster.
But there's delivery monsters.
No, it's really there's 3 great players.
But
And
I
the
think
supporting cast.
he and Oba were the scorers.
They were the go-to. Yeah.
Lamar Nagel had 9 and 9 with those two, so
10?
there's enough ball to get
10.
around.
Do I think he can get 10? Yes.
Yes. Dave? Oh, yeah. He's no question.
Yeah, no,
He plays 10 goals.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mark.
He had 8 goals and he only played half the
question?
season
Right.
last year. He had 8 goals and 4 assists in half a
So
season.
then, if he plays full season, do you think he can get 15? What's the most he's ever gotten? 12? Is it?
I don't know. I think
he's gonna have a huge year. That's where I'm going with it. I
to
think he's gonna
apply
have-
the meme, let me Google that for you.
No, I really
if you
think
want to
he's gonna
know
have
history.
a big year. Barring a big catastrophe or a condition with his heart, but like if he plays, 3/4 of the season, I think he's gonna have like 15 goals.
I would say, like,
he's gonna blow the fuck.
looking at this right now, I would expect them to score more goals as a team as a whole.
We got a full season of Alvaro Fernandez and Nico Ladero. When you're talking about scoring more goals, you're comparing Nelson Hato Valdez
Right.
to Will Bruin.
Right.
When you're talking about scoring more goals, Harry Shipp and Anders Svanschitz are basically even, except Harry's younger. Like
Faster.
when you talk about goal and assist contributions, he's basically even with Anders Svanschitz. Even shits.
Dude, I'm excited. This is what I need.
So
talking about our
you've
attack,
got-
talking about our boys. Let's go.
an attack that should be better, particularly with Clint Dempsey.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's not just about Clint Dempsey. You have 2 World Cup players here for the entire year.
Right.
Remember, we forget the reason why Alvaro Fernandez didn't join the Seattle Sounders at the beginning of 2010 was because he was going to the World Cup in 2010. Nico Ladero was at the 2010 and 2014 World Cup. And we're talking about a team that has room to add another good player.
Right.
Who's this player?
The current rumor is I'm going to mangle the first name, Kasaki
I think
Keisuke.
it's Keisuke
Keisuke Honda.
Honda.
at Milan.
He's kind of Japan's Dempsey. Like how he plays is very Dempsey-ish.
I would say that's a good comparison.
He's probably a really bad fit for this team, but at the same point, if you can get a player of his quality for the money they're talking about, which
All right,
is
1.5.
barely more than Osvaldo Alonso,
Oh, 2. Yeah.
Do you think that it's like
Maybe
how
you do
much
it.
do you think the bluntly the marketing aspect of that is involved in this?
and I think there's very little marketing aspect.
I do
to it.
too.
I think
don't-
anyone who's pretending there's a marketing aspect, they're basing it off of, wow, look what Ichiro did.
That's exactly what they're basing it off of. I've seen way too much
One-
of that discussion, by the way.
Honda isn't the most popular player in Japan.
Right.
Ichiro was the most popular player in the most popular sport, and it was by far.
Yeah.
Ichiro had Q ratings
He was like a Michael Jordan type.
similar
player.
to
Yeah.
Honda
Jordan
is
and
not-
Elvis. Honda is a guy. And he's a guy not going to the best league in the world. He's a guy going
Right.
to the 10th to 15th best in the league in the world. Let's remember, if Honda was that big of a marketing benefit, why didn't CSK Moscow or AC Milan get it?
Yeah.
He's a guy. He's a good guy. Like, there might be a slight bump.
Well,
but
let me rephrase that.
let's remember.
How much do you think there's a perceived marketing benefit? Then is maybe the better question to ask. That's I think what I.
Who are we
really-
talking? Whose perception are
The
we talking
league
about?
and/or Sounders.
I would hope that the Sounders are. I would hope that the Sounders are smart enough to remember that Shigetoshi Hasegawa, Kenji Jojima, who is the guy that got canned after spraining his back. I mean, getting in a fight. Closer Kazuhiro Sasaki.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys didn't move the needle a lot.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to get Ichiro. They're not going to get a guy
Right.
that forces
But that's-
NPB Japan to air games
And that's
live
the-
and local.
But that's
They're
the
not
end of the
getting that.
conversation at that point because I do think
It's
that
not
there is
close
some
to it.
perception that that's part of this.
People with that perception are idiots.
Good.
And sub
That's why
podcasting
you're
somebody
here.
right now.
That's why you're here,
I mean, Ichiro Suzuki was so popular that me at the time was the producer on the non-rights holder here at KJR. We did baseball's best postgame show, and like once a week, I was on the air in Japan, and they were translating live.
That's not going to happen with
You're
Honda.
not going to get that.
Yeah.
NPB aired like 140 Mariners games live in Japan. That's not going to happen. The Seattle tourism market is not going to explode because of Honda. That's Ichiro. Shigetoshi Hasegawa? Kenji Jojima? Kazuhiro Sasaki? Maybe. Those are guys that are pretty good. Fairly well known. Minor ticks. Some people in Japan kind of paid attention. Bought a few jerseys. They got 25 to 30,000 empty seats a game right now.
Yeah.
Honda, fills 500?
Right. That's not
If he was Ichiro level, what would they sell? 5,000?
multiple
Yeah.
thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
Every night.
yeah. And they'd get a local TV deal in
Right.
Tokyo, and they're not going to get that.
Okay.
So, again, don't be an idiot.
So let's. The one other thing from the weeks prior I wanted to talk about was our fine friends in Vancouver have made a couple of moves.
I hear they're looking at Blaise Kufo.
I mean,
Freddie
go all in at
Grunberg.
this point, right?
Basically, they're going over the old DP list for the Seattle
Yeah.
Sounders and like, can we sign you?
So as of today, Mauro is back.
Good.
Non-DP now.
Right,
But
is back. They traded for Breck Shea, which is interesting. Zach Scott's like, whatever, don't care. Now you come to Vancouver. And the big one, Freddie Montero.
Yeah.
So what are our thoughts?
I just, man, obviously I'm like, come on, man. Come on, Freddie. You know, I'll say, I think Brad Evans said it best. I like
Yeah.
his tweet.
did you see Freddie's response to that? He was
No.
asked about it. He
What'd he
goes,
say?
I like Brad. I would like to give Brad a hug right now. He's not in the same situation as I am.
I struggle with
and
this.
I understand why he said it.
He did a hug it out pitch.
He literally said on the record, I like Brad. I would like to give him a hug right now.
I don't.
That's the best answer.
I don't like hold it against him to do that. I mean, I'm in the Brad camp on this kind of thing. Not really a fan. In general,
Don't do
I
it.
get that this was like, I don't remember who I was having this conversation with. Probably you and a few other people, but it was like, this was a really good deal for him. He's relatively close to
It's
his
a
family.
perfect deal for
It
him.
makes
and
sense.
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think it's still shitty.
I'm still good, thank you.
Some more hot water.
That's Katie at the Berliner trying to make certain
Yeah.
that we need enough beer. So you can come to the Berliner and have beer too.
Come down. It is the best.
Thank you.
Their cheesecake. Yeah, it's a little hot for the hot tea.
Yeah, so I totally understand why Freddie do it.
Yeah,
Like,
I get it.
I do too, man, but I don't like
don't
it.
love it.
Don't
yeah,
love it. Don't
as a
want it.
fan, I'd rather him be here. But if I was Freddie, I know what I'd do because I moved to Arizona for a year because we thought the circumstances were better. And the next, as soon as we were on a contract, had to stay there for 12 months. So in 13 months, we moved back. And Freddie couldn't move back because there aren't a ton of MLS jobs available.
Right.
He didn't have an MLS off. He didn't have the offer from the Sounders, so he needed to get close. And there's no doubt Seattle is Freddie Montero's home.
Oh yeah.
No question.
It's where he moved his family. He bought his parents a house up here.
His wife's from here.
He's been here a gazillion times in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he still owns the condo that when he signed the DP deal. Remember when MLS was on NBC?
Oh yeah.
That was a minute ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did the 24 and 24 on Freddie Montero, and so he was in one of those amazing downtown Bellevue condos. Heck, I think it was before the Bravern, but
Yeah, it was before Bravern.
You know, Oba might still own his Bravern
He was down in Old Bellevue.
place.
Not
But
that I-
Freddie kept his condo.
Not that
Stalker.
I knew.
And remember, before Alvaro signed, when he was just in the offseason hanging out, trying to talk to Seattle into signing him, he was staying at Freddie's empty condo. Like,
This is me feeling super bad for Flacco right now.
Right. Jeez.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like,
It is.
when you think, and the Mariners had this. Like, I've talked about it. The people who adopt the sound. Tom's one of those. Like, and Hugo's one of those too. Like, you guys weren't from Seattle, but Seattle's home now.
No question.
Like,
206 till I die.
and you look at the Mariners had it with Jeff Nelson's probably the best example.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who had a really damn good career. And,
Yeah.
After his Mariners time, he still kept his house in Seattle for like 10 years. And eventually the idea of commuting around so he could be on radio all the time from not like doing radio shows in New York City, even though he lived in Seattle, made no sense. And that's kind of where Freddie is. Freddie
Well, you have players
wanted
that
to
kind
be
of
here.
have been elsewhere and come around, like John Olerud and like people who are just like, holy shit, this place is great.
Well, John's a bad example because he grew up in Redmond. But,
Yeah, but had left and had a really good life elsewhere.
hell,
and could have
Bill
ended
Russell.
up
Obviously,
in
I'm like
New York.
I'm stoked that he loves Seattle, right?
Yeah, Bill
It's just
Russell
like,
is probably the best example of that. Here, you're talking a Hall of Famer, like one of the best NBA
still
players
live
forever. He lives on Mercer Island.
No, what?
Like when
I love
he
Bill
was
Russell.
hired by the Sonics to be their head coach, he's like, and then they fired him. He's like, I'm never leaving.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to swing by, holler at my
That-
boy Bill Russell. What up, Bill? Well, you're welcome.
I served him
anytime.
coffee a few times.
Anytime.
South Mercer Island is the way to where to hang out if you want
There
to.
you go.
Say that again.
Stalkertips.com.
I can give you more stalker tips on South Mercer Island people you can bump into.
Okay.
One of them's name is Casey Keller. I'd give you the full list, but that would probably get me arrested.
Don't do that.
Highly
So-
recommend checking out the Shoulders of Giants documentary with Bill Russell on it.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Mark, you have something to add?
I'm gonna have to park next to Brad at some point in Kirkland because he's got the murdered out Tundra.
Wow. So anyway,
Yeah.
Speaking of stalkers,
do you know that time
Hanging out
time
flat stick with
again
Brad?
that Mark realized that he was live on a podcast?
can we talk about Brad for a little bit because
Yes.
he hosted the draft for the Zach Scott
It was pretty
testimonial.
good.
It was great.
500 people watched
Dude,
at
wow.
noon
Yes.
on a
weekday.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
A
What was that?
fantasy draft of 41-year-olds.
Yeah. Dude,
It was pretty funny,
if
and he was the Joker.
Aussie's team does not win by 10 goals, I'll be shocked. I'll just be like, no. And that's Zach Scott's team, by the way.
Well, I love that Ozzy had the first pick and he didn't get Zach
Yeah.
Scott because
And
his,
then-
his goal was, I'm going to win. So he went for Steve Zakawani, who
and then
like,
Zach
nearly
didn't
became a
get
Sounder.
picked second either.
Well, that was Brad trolling him. I'm going to pick your brother. That was so great. Oh, by the way, Ozzy Alonso, and I can't say his name very well, but at least I grew up in Puget Sound, so I've been around a lot of people from Vietnam. But Ozzy saying Viet Minh,
Oh yeah.
Viet Niga. And Brad goes, Viet Minh, got it.
That was pretty funny.
I mean, and let's be honest, like Ozzy could make fun of me saying Spanish any day of the week. He's done it. But that was pretty classic.
It was good. It was just. It was a funny thing.
Oh, yeah, it
was
They
good
know each
stuff.
other really well. Brad's trying to kill it and killing it.
Yeah, he's really good at what
It
he
was.
does.
It was funny.
Somebody rated their ability to write on the butcher block on Sound
my
Your Heart in
God.
the comments, and they're like, Ozzy gets A+ for his writing on Butcher Block because he had the font perfect to fit every player on his team.
I did. I'm in my head. I'm looking
Yeah.
at the photo right now, and I'm like, I'm watching it,
Brad's like scribbling stuff.
and I'm like, dude, you've got
sideways.
no more room, and you have more picks. What are you gonna do? I know what he's gonna do,
freaking out, like,
but at
come
home,
on,
I'm like, I think Ozzy planned this out. Yeah, we got asked about your shirt.
Higher.
Hechos in Seattle.
Made in Seattle,
Since 74.
74. It's got a
Which is the opposite
technically
of Larry.
not the NASL wave, but it's got a mild version, kind of that green and blue with the white line.
So
wave.
I went to a local pop-up mercado for local artists that make clothing, flat press.
That came through.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Anyhow, and there's a guy who has a clothing line. He's had for like longer than even Barra was around. Scholars and oh my god, I can't remember the name. That's
Where is it?
horrible. It's on the back of my shirt. Anyhow,
Where is
Stay tuned to Hugo's.
Stay tuned, info. I'll tweet out info. He's got some pretty cool stuff. So David Gallo, I don't know if you guys know David Gallo from Barra. Yep, he was there.
Yes.
He was at that
Yeah, yeah,
pop-up
yeah.
market, and
Yeah, yeah.
I went there to just check out some gear, and I saw this shirt, and I was like, done. Yeah, let's go.
Oscar Gomez wants one.
Hecho,
So-
Scott, hecho. I'll hook it up. I'll send some tweet, man. I'll send a tweet with it.
Excellent. Keep it going. Anything else from the past couple weeks we want to talk about before digging into this week? We got a lot of
Jersey?
stuff coming up.
Or is that part of the next?
Ooh,
We can talk about the jersey.
We can
What
talk
you
about
guys
the
think?
jersey.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, heck, that's a good roll. Like, if we want a good segue, we're talking
Right?
the green and
Pretty
blue
much.
with the NASL-esque wave going
Yeah.
through. I mean, that jersey did some interesting things and some not so interesting
Hey,
things.
Bloodworks Northwest is calling me to ask if I want to donate blood.
You should do that.
Do they pay?
No,
If they pay,
they
answer.
don't.
Anyway,
What happened in the days when you could donate blood for money?
those are
I
gone.
think it's plasma. Plasma.
Plasma, you
Plasma?
get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, is mine good enough? So there's some cool things that they did. The neck tag, with
Filthy.
the NASL logo is perfect.
That's filthy
The
as in
Born
really
in
cool, guys.
'74 tag,
Jock tag.
which is where on the other two kits is the seal of the city of Seattle. Great move. I wish they'd done a little bit more with the green, and I wish they'd done the MLS and Sounders logos in the NASL colors, which they used everywhere else.
It's funny because I saw Jeremiah's comments and I saw a few other folks and a lot of people who were bummed about it. I think there was I'm not saying Jeremiah and a few of these folks specifically, but in general, I felt like people were way focused on it being, quote, a throwback, when in actuality, they called it like heritage because they wanted to like use some of the design elements, but still do something a little bit different. So it wasn't like we're just going to crack out a 70s jersey and make that be what it is. So I think they were just trying to like pay homage to it, but not do it exactly. But I would say the colors, you would notice a difference where they'd have made those adjustments.
Yeah, it would have been much more retro if they went with the classic blue,
Yeah.
which was a teal, and kind of that medium to medium dark green that's from the NASL era. I think that would have made it a better kit. And I think if they'd colored the three stripes, went blue, green, blue, that would have been
Yeah.
hot.
I don't know if
It
you'll ever
takes
get.
so-
Would you
I
ever
was-
get Adidas to do that?
I'm pretty certain they've done it because they enjoy money, but I also think that it's something that they
Well, aren't the
I don't
stripes-
think they would think about
quite
that.
reluctant to do.
Yeah, they just are doing what they do, and they're like, "Well, here's our 8 templates. Figure it out." Like
Yeah.
that seems to be what they're doing. Unfortunately,
Weren't the stripes alternate colors on the Galaxy alternate kit?
I think that third kit that they did that was
that weird black
really-
fan
yeah.
designed, inspired by
Whatever.
the state flag.
Like when that was fan design, like
Or
were the
LA flag.
fans all
Drunk?
really
High?
drunk? Anyways,
Yes.
but let's keep
That
going
might
with
have
this.
killed
So-
fan design forever, by the
So
way, in the league.
I mean, generally speaking, everyone feels good about it,
Yeah,
right?
so my
Oh, no,
initial-
they were all red.
My
I'm wrong.
initial was no good. I was
They were all
like,
red.
no, I don't think I like this. I don't think I
But-
like it. However, after I went to the store inside in person, I liked it.
And I
like
think
it.
I would probably
I'm a
feel that way
collar
too.
fan.
So a few of us had actually been in a Sounders office last year for something else and saw like an early demo of it.
Prototype.
And I think there were 6 of us or 5 of us there, and we were all like, "We would buy this right now. Can we take it from your office?"
Yeah.
Because
It's gonna
when
sell
you
well.
see it in
Yeah.
person, I think it really changes
Totally.
your
No, that was
perspective on it.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I saw it, and then at first I was like, oh, it's just like I kept seeing some of the, oh, it's just a polo shirt, comments, and I was like, nah, I don't know. But when you see it in person, I saw it and I grabbed it, and I totally remembered.
They also did a polo-esque fabric too, rather
did.
than the normal athletic
Yeah.
fabric.
But I liked it because I remember some of the early Chivas jerseys that I used to like really dig as a kid were with colors and more dressy like that, and not typical what you see today. You know?
Yeah, it's a good jersey, and I'm glad they did it. I wish if you're
made
going to
it
go
well.
retro or throwback, give it to me for a reason. And considering you planned this 18 to 36 months ago,
Right.
the reason was we couldn't come up with another design. And you
Yeah,
had a 40th anniversary recently, doing it then, saving this for the 50th.
I mean, I think there's right, and that's the play. I do, having heard a few rumors about who owned the rights to the old school marks and other
It depends
things.
on
that
who
some of
you
those-
asked and what day you asked them. They
some
had
of
no
those,
idea on
Some of
some of
those
the legals.
things seem to be a little bit up and down.
Gotcha.
And I think when you're just making a shirt, it's one thing. If you're going to Adidas or like a heavy hitter company to make one of the league's bigger teams kits,
Yeah.
they're probably pretty stringent about rights holders
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
for
like
sure.
that. But no, I agree with you. Being able to celebrate it at a particular time is really awesome.
makes sense, yeah.
I will say, I think irrelevant of how the team plays in the white kit, I think we might not see white for a while.
Well, they
after
don't.
this.
Well, the other thing is they don't.
You don't need
It's
to.
a secondary kit,
Right.
and they have to wear their secondary kit at Portland, at Columbus, and sometimes at Houston when a referee's grumpy.
Brego.
And that's
The
it.
collar is really small. The new kid runs
It will
tight.
not surprise me if they
You might
don't
need to
roll
buy a
up in
size
that this
up.
week, though.
Good to know.
Well, they're at Houston this week,
Yeah.
so it's perfect. It's one of the cities where they've had to wear an alternate kit,
Which is just so
It's
silly. You're
funny,
like,
their
why
secondary
would you-
kits historically they wear less than their third kits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully we're done with white for a while.
Although
I'm down.
it is fun to watch
I'm totally
really
down.
obnoxious orange and really obnoxious green play.
I called
Yes.
I used to call it traffic cone. It's the traffic cone game because there are certain
One or the
cities
other?
use that
Tremaine,
fluorescent green
I'm
rather than
gonna
fluorescent
throw out
orange.
that question to our audience.
I just
friend,
realized there-
Tremaine. Do you like the new kit?
The new uniform.
New uniform, the new
Jersey
jersey?
Sounders.
Ooh. She
Did you
likes
get
it.
one yet?
Thumbs up from
Rent
Tremaine.
fresh out?
Thumbs up.
The Pacific blue.
Yeah, last year's is
Oh,
Last year's.
by the
Good
way, I
comments
just
here.
realized
Were you
they're
talking
using
about Super Saiyan?
Yeah, Super
Yeah,
Saiyan.
with the-
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Super Saiyan.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
that's
You were
No.
gonna say something.
they are
She's a
using
Super
the old
Saiyan
Adidas
fan.
logo on it, which
Yeah.
is a good little
It's a
nod.
good touch. Yeah.
She had platinum blonde hair.
And it looked good. Okay.
So the Super Saiyan.
obviously, you're fashion and style focused, so I get that and I respect that.
So again, she's saying that she was wearing the Super Saiyan
Bring
with
it
its
back
bright
this
yellow
season.
with her blonde
Totally
hair at
bring
the
it
time.
back.
So it kind of worked out.
All right, well.
And that's why she
do
liked it.
Just do it one day. I want to
Okay.
see
What
it.
I'm trying to
I wanna see it.
remember is that people can't hear her. So you go just
True.
talking to her doesn't,
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
really
Doesn't.
do
It sounds
anything.
like Ugo
Sorry,
talking.
Yeah.
it does.
You could probably repeat what people were saying.
So there we did. So as usual, the authentic kit is made for an athlete.
Yeah.
You are not athletic. So try it on.
So it's like Pitch Black.
Yes. Good
I mean,
feedback.
most of the authentics won't fit a normal person in
Yeah.
your normal size because normal people clothes are meant to be loose.
Yep.
And athlete
Soccer
clothes are meant
players
to
have
be tight.
3.1% body fat.
Yeah. So as Briggle mentions, it runs tight. It will run tight. Good news is you can also get a replica, men's, women's, and youth, and it'll still have the damn star on. it.
Con Estrellas.
And that was a huge move, by the way. Big
Yeah.
shout out to everybody
Very
that
big
sent
move.
emails.
I
Alliance Council.
huge
everybody.
support for the Alliance
team.
Council because I know that the social media pushback barely registered with them.
Yeah, I'm going to say I had a meeting with a couple of other people and Sounders a week before the kits. And as of that time, this wasn't solved.
Wow.
So when you hear that like this was probably a last minute solution that the
was the
team
last
decided
minute, yeah.
to make a decision,
Organized
that's a
folks.
real thing.
Organized
which
folks.
is pretty
Let people
awesome.
know.
And
Resist.
the league is looking at a league-wide policy. Right now, they only have to worry about the Sounders, but at some point late this year, they're going to have to decide because they hose the Timbers fans. Like, Timbers managed to release 1,975 with replicas with the jersey or
2015,
something.
I thought.
Really?
Oh, it was 2015. It was to celebrate
Yeah.
their year, and that was a gimmick that let them get around it. But the
Right.
fact of the matter is they could have sold tens of
10,
thousands.
20,000 jerseys.
Easy.
Yeah.
They're a 3 to 5 jersey seller every year.
Yeah.
And the league and Adidas ignored them. The Sounders are a first every year, and the league and Adidas couldn't ignore that.
Well, the other flip on that with Sounders is they're going to sell jerseys anyway.
Yeah.
Plus, they have players that specifically are sold.
Shermaine's
like,
over
in
here
the custom
shaking her
jerseys.
head like, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you have Deuce, now you have Morris. Like, that's going to
Oh,
happen.
national. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
For
anyway.
sure.
It's,
So, big deal on the Stars. I know
I
we
think it
talked
was
about
last
that.
year, 3 of the top 20 jerseys in MLS were Sounders,
I think that's
with
I think that's
Ozzy
right.
being the third.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, I mean, Clint and Jordan were both in top 10. Clint, I think, was only second last year.
Yep.
They sell. I mean, this was a team whose third kits outsold 90% of the league's first kits most years. So, if there was going to be a way for business operations to, I think I said this 3 weeks ago, but if there's a way for business operations to reinforce social justice, this was the way to do it. It's the team, LA and Seattle can force this change. Those are the two teams that sell far and away better than anyone else in the league. When Portland can't do it, when
Right.
Kansas City can't do it, the economic thing is like our third, fourth, fifth best teams don't sell enough, and now it's like, yeah,
And
Seattle.
it moved the needle. And that's the thing. Like you talk about Portland.
so it'll be there.
As much fun as it is to sing Garden Shed in Portland, there's just as many people outside of the stadium that are inside the stadium that want a season ticket
Yeah.
to go there. And when they can't make a move after winning, okay.
Yep.
And that's when you realize, I mean, it is about money, unfortunately. Now, the trick here is, does it turn into something permanent? for the
Now
league?
that it's happened,
I think it
I
has
can't.
to.
Yeah.
I don't think they can roll it back
League
because
looks stupid.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they
what
would.
are they going to do? What are they going to do when, let's say, Colorado wins next year? Remember, they won an MLS Cup before. Heck, they were in the Supporters Shield race last year.
Yep.
So they win it. Are you really going to say, woman from Denver, you're worth less than woman from Seattle?
Right.
Yeah, no, they can't.
You going to be that shithead?
They just
No, they're
can't.
not. Like,
Well, and the
They're
thing
not.
is, like,
No.
realistically, it's a negligible hard cost,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, seriously, it's something that's.
And don't think they won't just go, your jerseys around all now $2 more.
Yeah, no, totally. It would be a silly move, man. I just got a great question. I saw a great question that was asked online. It's a little bit back towards talking about the season and players, but I think it's good. With no extra travel for CCL or SSFC, for the Sounders in 2017, do you think that helps our chances on repeating?
I don't know if that honestly affects it, really.
Combined with, well,
I don't know if it really hurts it. In fact, I think they've actually created a team now with depth that if you did have CCL,
younger guys tend to travel better.
I just think it would actually even us out more than anything. So maybe then
Let's-
the answer is sort of yes, but
Talk a little bit about that depth because I think it's much deeper
don't
to
we-
about 15 or 16.
yeah.
And then it's a lot shallower than it was.
Yep.
Like
No, I agree.
the
It-
fifth defensive mid last year was Nathan Sturgis. Now they didn't have to use him, but you would have had more confidence in Nathan Sturgis as the fifth defensive mid than Jordy Dellum.
wow. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Jordy Dellum this year, and I know he was with S2 last year. I thought he was a decent center back there. I think he's a bad defensive mid, and I'd be stunned if they announced that they signed him this year because I don't think his preseason was that great.
Yeah.
Whereas with Nathan Sturgis, you're like, oh, you've been on 8
All the
teams,
teams.
12 years. You're only
all
28.
teams.
You know,
Except Miami.
we kind of make fun of the Sturgis Farfan signings last
But
year,
dude,
but
stick around.
Yeah.
they were,
collecting.
you know,
They're
they were the
professional
20th
athletes.
men. This year, the 20th men is Shea Adekoya,
Right.
Nuhu Tolo, maybe Brian Nanasinkham, but he hasn't signed yet. Like,
Really?
there are only 23 guys on the roster right now. Like, when we talk about depth, sure, about 15 or 16 better than last year. But I would take last year's 20th man, Hercules Gomez, over this year's 20th man, I don't know who.
Makes sense.
And Herc didn't have a good year. Herc would tell you that. He didn't have a good year. That's why he retired. If he had a good year, he wouldn't retire. He didn't have a good year.
He looked good doing it
Yeah.
though. So,
but
that
I
was
think
cool.
more so combined with
So depth is great for an MLS season. Not great if you're making a deep CCL run.
Yep.
But we can test like the 8, 9, 10 between homegrown players, draftees, and S2 signings that they're going to have. Let's say 3 of them work out.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden your depth's at 18. That's good.
and that's it. Just feels like a different animal.
Yeah,
you know.
and I'm not too concerned too because with the friendly spread out early in the year, and
God, we have a friendly in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, we do, dude.
That doesn't even give me time to sell the
Necaxa.
damn ticket. I didn't want to buy a ticket. I got forced to. Trophies, not friendlies.
yeah, I'm with you.
I should talk to Garth about that.
You should.
Good luck.
Well,
Anyway,
I'll ask him about it because in RSL he had a formal policy that they weren't going to do friendlies. You know why? Because the RSL fans adopted trophies, not friendlies.
Yeah.
And proved that it was a bad marketing plan. Okay.
so let's talk about this week because we've got a number of things going on.
Yeah.
Oh, is there
Busy
anything
week.
going on this week?
What's going on?
So
What?
tomorrow is Brian Schmetzer. This is your life.
That's at the Market Arms, Ballard.
Can I just say,
Put on by
That you love Brian
Washington
Schmetzer?
Legend of
I
Soccer.
love my work, but they chose the worst week to send me to Astoria for our all-staff meeting. I love you guys.
I'll go for you.
You would? All right.
And
I'll
take
take-
the paycheck.
Well, yeah. I do freelance
Dave
work.
likes Astoria.
I love Astoria, but just not this week.
There's
I'm
a
missing
great
out on
brewery
that.
out there.
The Schmetzer, This Is Your Life. That's amazing.
So, yeah, Schmetzer, This Is Your Life. Tomorrow.
Schmetz.
Washington Legends of Soccer.
Market Arms.
Market Arms.
Ah.
Lots of space there. They're going to have some great stuff. They're going to have
The
coaches and friends
doors
of
at
his.
6.
Doors at 6, 7 for the formal presentation. There'll be auction
Kid
items.
right now. It's not getting his way.
We have to remember, like, the history here. Brian Schmetzer's history is Seattle Sounders history, but at the same point, there are elements of Schmetz's life that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he'll share them, and his friends will share them because they'll have to listen.
Like, what's your favorite taco?
I mean, This Is Your Life. If you're young and haven't seen it, Google This Is Your Life, the TV show. And it's a great experience where they've got famous people to like be reintroduced to their family and friends that they hadn't seen in 20 years to talk about
It's crazy.
what
I'm good
like
too, Katie, thank you.
hey, remember in 6th grade when we did such and such? And they're like, please don't share that. It was on national television back when national
And
television
it's literally like,
was
oh,
Dude,
three
yeah,
TV,
I- I
4
think I've
channels.
seen
Yeah.
one or two random episodes somewhere online, and they're awesome.
Like, it's a cool concept,
Yeah.
and you know Frank McDonald and a number of other people are
I'm
pushing
assuming
pretty
it's
hard
not
on
being
this,
streamed
and-
online, right?
no, I don't believe so.
they have not yet announced streaming. You should just go.
But it's going to be a good time.
But actually, you should guys.
You know,
someone go
not
for
that
me.
you need an excuse to show up at Market Arms on any given day, but Brian Schmetzer, This Is Your Life.
I
is
need
a
someone
pretty,
to go out there.
It's a pretty good reason.
And get some oh yeahs out there in the crowd,
Oh,
please.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
that's tomorrow.
That's Tuesday.
Wednesday.
What's going on, MrSounder.com?
Zach Scott testimonial. MrSounder.com. Get your
Yes.
tickets.
If you haven't got tickets, I have two. I will have two. That I need someone to go and represent. Oh yeah.
Are you giving them away tonight
yes.
on the show?
Yes.
What does somebody have to do? You can make them do something.
Yes, we should.
You can make them like make a donation.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's pretty cool. The donations and the money raised We're not talking like proceeds. We're talking revenue here because everything is volunteer.
It's all
All
going
of it.
to Zach Scott.
As someone that works
So
in
he
finance,
split it
I
between
like that he
3
called it
organizations.
revenue.
One, kids scholarship fund. That's pretty cool because Zach could have made more money for a few years.
Which
but-
is what we all expected it to end up at, all of it.
But
And
Zach
no,
Scott
but
loves
it's
a
Zach
few
Scott.
things.
Yeah.
2, Rave Foundation, which is also great. That's basically the charitable arm of the Seattle Sounders and Adrian Hanauer. And then 3, a children's cancer fund, because one of his very, very good friends, one of the first people that he met in the Seattle area, that friend's daughter has pediatric cancer of the brain.
I think so.
Makes me want to
Yeah.
cry thinking about. And so they're talking about pediatric cancer research. So those are the 3 things. Zach Scott's kids, so they can go to college. The Rave Foundation, which does a lot of great things around youth soccer and water in East Africa and some other things that they've worked towards, both in the United States and the developing world. And then pediatric cancer. That's what the funds are for. So
Wow.
MrSounder.com for your tickets.
Let's go, y'all. MrSounder.com.
35 players. You've
Whoa, I don't
You've-
know how that happened.
You've heard of a lot of them, but Zach and Daniel Scott and Kaylee, Zach's son. So there'll be 3 Scotts there, 2 different generations. Casey Keller, Steve Zakuani, like
Gonzo Pineda.
Roger
Presidente.
Levesque.
That was actually really
Kennedy
funny.
Yeah.
Hurtado.
And a bunch of the USL era Sounders as well that deserve some serious respect. Craig Tomlinson,
Islander
Kevin
stepped
Sakuda,
in, by the way,
Chris
and
Islander, Ben
that's gonna be a good
Dragavon, Craig Tomlinson, Viet Win, Darren Sawatsky. Plus, you have some guys that grew up in the area who never played for the Sounders, like Sean Henderson, who's an academy coach, Chris Henderson, who's his brother, who I think I've done a light research on this. I'm not 100%, but I think Chris Henderson is the person with the most U.S. national team caps without a World Cup.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He went to the Barcelona Olympics,
What?
but had an injury for 2 different World Cups that came up during, like, when he was getting always called
Yeah.
up. So he was in, like, all the World Cup qualifiers. He was on that final 30 roster and then injured and didn't get the call. So Chris Henderson, who is now, like, he's no longer the sporting director. He's vice president of soccer.
Vice president of
He's basically-
tweeting from stadiums.
So that's
That's
great.
not a diss. That's like seriously the best job ever.
So it's a great mix of essentially 3 different
I
types
just
of
wanted to
players.
see Jimmy Traore out there.
Leighton
really.
O'Brien, Jimmy, a bunch of guys that like half the roster are youth soccer coaches in the area right
Yeah.
now too, which is like when you talk about what impact did Zach Scott have, well, his teammates are teaching your kids how to play soccer.
Do you think they're going to make Nate Jakwa play like full 90? Just because?
Nate
Because-
Jake was going to play full 90, and then he's going to run laps at the end of the
Yeah.
game.
That wasn't enough.
And can we bet? Do we want to bet on Cam Weaver goal?
I'm thinking like 7-8 or like 8-7, 9-7.
Oh, score wise.
10-8
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the score.
But Cam Weaver goal, though.
Well, it's going to be hard because let's see, Cam and Jake were on opposite sides, right?
Yeah.
Good.
But Cam's playing against
The
Ben
2 of those will
and
be
Islander.
camped out in the 18.
Yeah, they're just hanging.
Like they'll be offside so often. It'll be great.
Zach and not Zach Scott are going to be pulling out stepovers like you don't even know.
Zach will not be pulling out stepovers.
He will not.
No.
I think Zach threatened to slide tackle Brad.
He actually said he was going to tackle the entire team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going after their coaches. I'm going after their keeper.
Oh my God.
He's
So,
embracing his vibe. So
that's going to
it'll
be a
great.
good time.
I'm disappointed there's no Leave You Bird playing.
You'll probably be all right. Sorry. Anyway, so a couple things on Zach Scott testimonial. Get your tickets, MrSounder.com. Doors at 6 at Memorial Stadium in Lower Queen Anne.
You can go to MrSounder.com, by the way, if you can't get tickets, and like because you can't go because maybe like snowpocalypse happened or whatever. If you can't go, you can go there and just donate money.
Yeah,
the
there or
causes are
on-
worth doing.
Either there or on weareecs.com. We have an item in the store where the money specifically goes to this donation. So we'll have some cool things. And then the other thing to throw out there for people who maybe can't attend or just like stuff is there is going to be an online auction of gear. So I'm looking at it right now. So we've got multiple color Zach Scott jerseys.
Yeah, if you like the number 20,
So like I have
You're gonna be in heaven.
two rows of Zach Scott shorts and jerseys. There's game balls. There's other player cleats. There's other Sounders gear. There's autographed scarves.
Holy shit, you just keep scrolling.
There are 208 items as of this moment that'll be there. So whether you go or not, stuff starts right now. Bids are as low as $20 on some items. Jerseys are starting at about
When's
50.
the auction go live, Tom?
5 p.m. on Wednesday.
So whether or not you're there, follow things like we are ECS.
Yep. At
To
Sounders
stay
FC.
tuned, at Sounders FC.
And so on.
Z Scott. you know,
At
basi-
ZK Scott.
Yeah, ZK Scott. Sorry, and you'll be able to see all of that because, wow, that's
It's going to be pretty cool. I mean, but there's game-worn player cleats that are autographed. Like, cool stuff that people legit want.
if you want collectibles.
Yeah. So all the stuff you wanted to get in Match Pass rewards for years and
Wow.
couldn't, you can now put in bids for, and all
so
of the
much
money goes to a
shale
special.
stuff, which is like my favorite kit
Yeah.
color because shale has been used as the training color for so often. I'm looking. Oh god,
Where's the
There's some
link?
hoodies on here that I'm like, yo.
no live link yet. It's going live at 5.
Where's
You
it gonna
sat
go
on the
live
wrong side of the table.
Where-
We'll post it on social.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you'll find it. Anyway, so that's coming out
I'll be
Wednesday.
in
Wednesday,
Astoria
5
bidding.
p.m.
I'll be in Astoria bidding.
So
That's right on payday too. Yeah.
The auction goes
all in
live.
all, should be a super fun night. At the end of the day, for those of you who've never been to a testimonial or understand what the concept is, it's literally a thing from when players were I'm reading a book right now, and players in the '60s in England made £20 a week. Now that might have been a lot more than it is. It is a lot more than it is today, but it still was not a lot of money. So you had these people who played soccer for 10, 15 years, sometimes for the same team. And the concept was, let's have a match where their former teammates, their opponents, like players that love them, etc., would all come together and play a match. And you threw all the money in a pile and it all went to the player. Like, that's the concept. In the U.S., Brian Ching is the only one that I really know about.
Did he
That
have
was
one?
He did, yeah. And I don't remember if Houston actually organized it or if another group
Pretty
did.
certain
But
Houston did.
Brian Ching had one. And there really haven't been a lot.
Brian
at
Ching
least-
trivia. You ready for some Brian
Yes,
Ching trivia?
Brian Ching trivia.
When was the first time Brian Ching played with Zach Scott?
Sounders.
I,
USL.
I don't know.
Wrong answer.
No idea. Was it like Hawaii?
Gonzaga.
That's right.
Good call.
Oh,
They
good
played together at
trivia.
Gonzaga, and
Wow.
then they
That was
played
good
together
trivia.
with the USL Sounders
That is
as well.
So
crazy.
am I right?
Um,
It's not the first time, but they did play together.
Here you go.
So-
So Emily, MLS Watercolors, donated a few prints that will only ever be available on that auction.
Some
Fry
of
the
them are
Jedi
signed.
and Super Roman.
I saw that the Torres ones are signed,
So-
and if I know Stefan Fry, he'll sign stuff because
So cool stuff
dude
is going to
loves-
happen in that auction. So we'd love for everyone to come out,
Yes.
even if you can't.
Yes.
There's going to be some cool ways to participate and get involved.
Here's the thing. Remember last year, the Steve Zakuani charity tournament? And like half the people who were diehards were like, damn, I wish I'd gone to that. And it just didn't.
Do this.
Guess what? You can go. And you won't have to worry about Landon Donovan or D-Row being there because you're just going to have Sounders. And people who love Puget Sound. And so
No
it's going to be
question.
slightly different. You're still going to have Steve, but you're going to have Zach. You're going to have Casey. You're going to have a bunch of people. One of the interesting things is some people pull out, some people add in at the last minute. They're going to have some fun little players, and a bunch of the current players will be there
They'll be around. Don't be surprised to see someone randomly sub in.
for like 3 minutes, and then Brian Schmetzer pulls
If
them
it's
off.
if it's Beasley,
Like-
I'm walking out.
Like
gonna get the high
no,
score?
but I'm talking like B-Rad. B-Rad talked about like I need Chad Marshall to play for me for a little bit because my defense is awful, and Then he remembered, but we have a game in a few days. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the current Sounders make appearances. But at the same point, they're going to focus on winning
So it's going to be a
Saturday.
good time.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, 6 o'clock doors, 7 o'clock ish kick. Sounders and ECS have teamed up to put this on. We've been literally talking about this for like a year and a half because we never really knew when Zach was finally going to hang him up. So the cool thing is for Sean Wheeler, who from our side has been running point on this, and Taylor Graham at the Sounders, those guys have put in like an extra job of work to put this together. And, you know, Sounders and other folks on volunteer side on ECS are putting in a lot of work to make this happen, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're really excited about it, and I'm hoping it's one of the more exciting things that we get to do this year,
Dude,
aside from regular game day.
Dude, I am super bummed that I'm not there for work, man. When they told me that week, I was like, this is really cool. I was talking about it on the radio in Spanish on Saturday. I was like, you have Gonzalo Pineda, you have John Kennedy Hurtado, you have, Honey Badger, Hugo Cuellar. You have a lot of these like really cool. I'm naming some of the guys that spoke because they're Hispanic, but some of like the historic, Hispanic players of the franchise there too, and they're doing it because of course Zach Scott's such a like key component.
Gonzalo
of our history.
Pineda does not need to play in this game. I mean,
no.
it's great that he's here now and he's
Yeah,
coaching and
yeah.
is involved, but that dude could coach for anybody he wants.
Pretty much,
So,
dude. Pretty much. And I hope we keep him for as long as possible because he is going to get offers to coach a club in Mexico if he does pretty well here.
yeah.
But, man, dude, I'm super bummed I'm not going to make there. So I really hope if someone retweets one of the tweets I just sent out about representing with that, oh, yeah, I will get you my 2 tickets for that game. So there's a tweet I just put out there. Get it out there. I really want someone to out there represent because I'm bummed that I can't be there, man. It's like I don't think we'll ever see another Sounder like that plays their entire career.
I mean, you never know.
And hopefully,
So-
but it's so rare.
Who is? I've had that discussion actually, and I think actually a guy like Aaron Kovar is probably our most likely to be a
Be around forever.
fifth because he's good for MLS, but probably not going to get. Even though he has an international, like he has an Irish passport. We've seen him. He's been on trial and training, like the past 3 winters. Aaron could play here until he's 35, but Jordan Morris won't.
Right.
None of the draftees will. Christian Roldan might move just because of MLS,
Right.
which would break everybody's heart.
Yeah. UW would cry altogether.
I don't think that he goes to a better league internationally. So maybe like a Roldan or a Kovar is kind of the types of guys
Yeah.
that will.
Yeah.
It's just
It's hard to make a career
Yeah.
at this level of play because
Right.
you have to be such a narrow talent, and at the same point, to do it for so long, you have to be willing to sacrifice certain financial goals and family goals.
Which is what he
And-
did.
which
with
is what Zach did.
But
Yeah.
look at like
Particular.
MLS players, like long-time MLS players. You can count on 2 hands players that played what? I don't even think you need to go to 8, 6 years with a team.
Well, I mean, let's even look
7, like
Yeah, seriously.
We
dude.
think of Brad as an original Sounder, but he also had 2 years with the crew.
right.
You think of Landon Donovan with the Galaxy, but he won a title with San
Yep.
Jose. You think of Brad Davis with the Houston Dynamo, but he won a title with San Jose. He also played
And-
for Kansas
yeah.
City.
Yeah.
And then he's supposed to be signing a 1-day contract
it
to
already
retire
happened, I
or
think.
something with
Yeah.
Houston. Gimmick, but
I'm actually
Brad
a fan of
Davis,
that. It's a good
you-
NFL thing that those teams do. I like that.
when you think of Brad Davis, you're like Houston Dynamo, and
Right,
then you're
nope.
like, no, 3 teams.
Yeah.
Like-
It's really kind of crazy. And again, you're still in a nascent league. Like, give it 30 more years and let's see what happens. I mean, the world's going to be a different place by then. But anyway, yeah, it's a cool thing. We're really excited about it. I'm happy to get to chat about it for 15 minutes. The other thing we obviously should talk about is we have a game on Saturday. Where did that come
Let's
from?
go.
Versus the aforementioned Houston Dynamo, who have reloaded. I don't want to say like ridiculously, but they've made a fair chunk of
Their
moves.
new coach.
They have a new coach.
Yeah.
They like a third of their roster is new, and almost everybody they added was either a Costa Rican or
Yeah.
Honduran national team player.
Didn't their coach come from either USL?
I'll look. Let me Google that for
Yeah,
you.
but he's highly some of the South American radio and MLS personalities that I follow online, they speak very highly of the new coach, man.
No, they hired Wilmer Cabrera. You are correct. He was
Yeah.
with Rio Grande Valley FC last year.
Yeah.
He
Played
got
for the Colombian national team.
Yeah, he
really good
is.
player with Colombia. He has been coaching here, and he's highly. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, to be honest. But the people that I follow online.
Oh, and they're actually playing Kubo Torres.
really?
Yeah,
Shut
like-
up. Are you serious?
Dude, like their roster is
Can I have some fun news breaking right now?
Yes.
break some news.
While we're
Breaking
here,
news on
so I just
SonarFeed
found
right
out.
now.
So Team Evans is going to be wearing Pacific Blue
Oh,
at the Zach
snap.
Scott testimonial. Team Aussie is wearing Rave Green.
Let's go.
We did get some good numbers, player numbers.
Somebody wrote a 3-digit.
My most favorite thing on here is that Zach's kid is wearing a small. That's officially on this listing right here. That's fantastic. So Jimmy Ward's rocking a 0. Do we have anything else super interesting? Ben Dragovan's wearing 1. Anything weird?
Hugo Alcaraz Cuellar, who is one of the few people that is loved by both the Timbers and Sounders fans, is wearing a 77.
77.
77,
fun.
right? JK is wearing 30.
My tocayo.
What is Zach Scott wearing? No, it's a bad joke, man.
Is he actually wearing
47.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, good. Thank God.
47.
Because you never know. Things could change.
Gonzalo Pineda wear the number 9.
Number 9, right? That's really funny. Anyway, so that's happening.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Houston Dynamo.
Yep.
Cold.
Kubo Torres, Boniak Garcia, Albert Ellis,
Garcia's not bad, dude.
Andrew Winger, Ricardo Clark. Like, those are guys we know. And then former Sounder Dylan Remick. They traded for AJ De La Garza. They got an interesting little
Doesn't
lineup.
it feel like a better team to you, though?
Oh, yeah, like
Just quick glance.
yeah.
I'm looking at like, oh, that guy played for Honduras for like the past 7 years. You know, guy played for Costa Rica. It's yeah. Oh, I think that we're at the tail end of that gas because we used to have
got
getting
a
that
door
red
over
glow
here.
off the top, and
got a door over here.
no, I'm serious. It's the gas. There used to be red glow, and now there's not.
Mark, don't screw this up.
Don't screw it up. Don't.
So Houston looks better than last year. They're going to take some time to look good, but they're at home. And as we know,
Thanks,
home
man.
teams win at least 50% of their games.
Shout out to our
The
guy here.
worst
Hooked us up.
home team last year in MLS was a 500 side, and the best road team in MLS last year was a 500 side. So yeah, it's gonna be tight. 2 road games
Mama
to
would
start
be
is
like,
gonna suck.
Got a donkey still?
5:30.
What's up?
The Sounders schedule doesn't say it, but if you go into your Comcast grid, you can find out that it's going to be on Q13.
Nice.
That's going to be awesome because
Yes.
on Saturday, the U.S. women's national team at 2 p.m. is on Q13
Ooh, so we're going to
back
roll
against
in.
England. So we're getting soccer fans rolling into
Back
soccer
back.
fans.
Let's go. Come down here to the
we don't
Berliner
get that
to
often.
watch it here in person with our friends. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man.
By the way, I want this dude's name. Houston has a dude named Ownby.
Brian
Oh,
Ownby. Brian Ownby. Anyway,
No, but I think they might surprise folks, man. I don't know. I like the coach. I actually, they did pretty good in the USL. He did pretty good with that squad at Rio Grande. I don't know if they went far.
You know who the new Rio Grande coach and general manager is?
Hold on. I should know this. I remember.
I've told you this once, and you might be the only one here that would know.
Yes, hold on.
All right, I'm spoiling this. It's Junior Gonzalez, who was the former assistant coach at S2 here and the former academy scout
Top of the line equipment here, by the way.
Yes.
with the Sounders. They grabbed him from somewhere else, and Rio Grande grabbed him. Rio Grande Valley is a really interesting area. That part of Texas has like 2 million people in it,
Yep.
and it's right along the border. Like,
Christella, the comedian, is from there.
we
Sorry,
think
random
of
fact.
like Texas outside of Dallas, Houston, and then
As
Austin,
being
San
super
Antonio.
not dense.
Super not dense.
Yeah.
The Rio Grande Valley is like
That's
50
a lot.
2 million
Seattle's
people.
like 3.
Yeah.
Market.
The metro.
I think we're like 4.1 for Nielsen market. So I'm talking Nielsen market there.
Okay.
But, the Rio Grande Valley? It's in the Rio Grande. It's not right on the border.
Yeah.
So you're talking people who born and raised to love soccer.
Is it East or West Texas?
It's the Rio Grande Valley. It's like
Oh
literally.
my God, that was a dumb fucking question.
It's the
Jesus.
southwest border that runs from the Gulf.
I got 2 hours of sleep last night. And I've
Ask me
been
about
up
this when we're
since
not on the air,
5:30.
'cause I have some
You were
fun
in a
stories about the
car
Rio
longer
Grande.
than you slept last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fuck that.
Seattle lost a great recruiter and talent
I'm stupid.
evaluator in Junior Gonzalez.
Yes, dude,
Um,
that was a bad loss.
And he has done some great stuff in setting up relationships with various academies and whatnot around the country. He is fully bilingual and does a great job of discovering that undiscovered talent in the United States, the Latino player that just needs the opportunity. Junior Gonzalez is one of the few people who can find them,
I know, man.
and he's working for Houston now
in
and-
Rio Grande, like,
in
yeah, in
a
the hottest.
fairly dense place that has a lot of kids that play soccer as part of their life. Great move for him. Good move for Houston. Good move for MLS. And
I mean, that's a move like
We're
Dallas,
still gonna whip their
though.
butt on Saturday, though.
Like,
boom,
bringing in Oscar.
get some.
yeah. In Oscar's
I'm
case, he
calling it
lives and bleeds
2-0
FC
already.
Dallas.
Sounders.
Oscar Pareja.
Think about that.
But he mines that Latino
Yes, he
marketplace
does, very much so.
like a boss. He did it in Colorado,
Yeah.
and he's doing it in Dallas.
Yeah, but
Isn't he a
Pareja is
Sea
almost
Dogs
like.
coach?
I fucking love these guys, man. That's
Yeah.
what he said live on the air before we had a 7-second delay at KJR after they won the indoor title in 94,
Sea
95,
Dogs.
I think it was, or
With the Sea
95,
Dogs,
96 with the Sea Dogs.
Let's go.
Because Barry Ackerley owned them because he wanted some more dates
Yeah.
in the Key Arena at the time, or the
Shocking.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
And they were live on the air, and he goes, "I fucking love these guys."
Yeah.
We had that drop that we couldn't ever play over the air, but it was also why Kevin Calabro was on a 7-second delay, even though he was on. Like literally, all of our live broadcasting was on 7-second delay, and for most markets, your radio call is not on a delay because you want it to sync with the TV.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think most of those have now moved to a full delay.
They're on a delay.
on
Even the
both systems.
NFL is on a delay. Yeah.
Too many people
Saturday
swear.
Night Live
Yeah.
was on a delay.
The West Coast didn't get
Kristen-
the same thing as
Yeah.
Kristen
Nope.
Stewart got on the East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, the West Coast got a big.
So
My wife was so disappointed because we
I was too.
record the West Coast feed. And
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So I have one other thing to throw in before we finish up on Saturday. Portland away tickets go on sale Thursday night.
What?
So
Dude, this
8,
week
8
is
p.m.
swamped.
Thursday.
Got some
Tuesday,
other
you
shit
have
going
something
on
to do?
here too.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
By the way, MLS Cup
All
will
the
almost
money.
certainly. MLS Cup is going to be at the Zach Scott testimonial.
Yes, it will.
I'm pretty certain it's going to be at the Brian Schmetzer This Is Your Life because they're basically touring it to any time there's going to be like more.
Oh,
Oh, did we
Also-
win that?
There's a rumor. Do you remember that large MLS Cup that was on the field?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the large Super Bowl sign
Yeah.
that's in CenturyLink Field? I heard a rumor that there's a large MLS Cup.
like concourse level 100 West Side.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you exactly where it's going to be located, but if I heard about it, you can probably guess where it's
I'll get those details
where
afterwards,
it
yeah.
might be.
I just want to know where I need to take my
That's a
Pixel
rumor.
on
Haven't
opening
seen
night.
it yet.
By the way, opening night, if you don't have tickets because you aren't a season ticket holder, they've opened up everything. You can get
Yeah.
to opening night.
Fantastic.
So we sold out of our opening night tickets in about 2 hours and 20 minutes,
That's pretty quick.
which was very fast. And we increased our ECS allotment by half from last year.
And they
we
still
did,
sold out in 2 hours.
Yeah. We did. The team did some different things this year. They actually opened up, I think it's green and blue is what they're called, the half-season
The half
packages.
Sky
you
of
can
blue,
actually-
sea of green.
If you can't commit to a full season
They
anywhere.
also have a flex pack.
Yeah, so there's a flex pack. The flex pack works anywhere else except GA. You can't include GA, where it's literally like pick your matches you want to go to. But we did do half seasons
Half
in
seasons
GA.
in GA?
Yeah. So if you, like a lot of people on the dry side, et cetera, can't commit to coming this far for 17, 18, 19 games, they can do that for half a season though. So if you're still looking for a season ticket or part of a season ticket, there are I think 40 and 50 of each of those, the green and blue, available. So
That's the Sky Blue Sea of Green. Oh, by the way, I've clicked on single match tickets. This is going to be fun because last time I checked, they had opened up a total of 7 wide on that west section.
Yep.
The 300s.
they opened a lot of the upper.
It's fun.
House.
What it looks like they're doing is they're just basically saying, if you're willing to buy 2 weeks ahead, you're going to get a ticket.
Yep.
If you're willing to
So-
buy the week of, you probably won't get a ticket
Right.
on this primary market.
So they're going to be selling good tickets. We have our Atlanta. We probably put our tickets up like, let's call it 3 to 6 weeks in advance.
Nice.
The GA tickets from ECS. We sold out of the first batch. We've sold 20 plus of our Atlanta
Is that the
tickets.
June game?
So
Sorry,
Atlanta
for the-
is
Ooh,
April. I'm sorry, March 31st. Yeah, we got to get to that.
Yeah, I wanna
So
get to
that was the next thing I wanted to talk
Dude,
about.
oh my
so
God.
just to throw out that, so Portland goes on sale Thursday night. We have a match on Saturday, and then obviously we've got some shows to come.
you guys have
Got a few games.
some pretty cool stuff going on at the Atlantic Crossing. Is that next week?
The 14th, Tuesday the
Oh, so
14th.
for the home game.
So new beer.
Oh yeah.
New beer, not telling you where it's coming from or what it is, but if you read the internet, you can tell what style of beer it is.
I know.
That's going to be cool. And
And
Christian
the player of the year.
Roldan
Yeah, on the 14th.
will be accepting in person his Player of the Year, ECS Player of the Year from last year.
Yeah.
Tuesday the 14th, Atlantic Crossing.
If you want to get into the home opener, you can go in upper deck for as low as $26 from the team right now.
That's a pretty good deal.
300s, it's looking like it's going to be rather packed. So when you're up in those 300 level, when it's packed, you feel like you're part of the group. That's fun.
And you won't get snowed on.
Yeah. It says no tickets available, GA. Change it? No, it's no tickets, man. No tickets available.
Yeah, so GA is officially the ECS section on Ticketmaster.
Really? Let's
Yeah,
go.
That took years. Anyway, so that's going on. And then the next big news that we'll post on social, but if you're watching right now, you hear it here first. Officially,
Exclusive SonarFeed.
Sunday, April 2nd,
Boom. Let's go.
FIFA tournament, Berliner.
2017.
What? You're going to drop the mic? Don't do it on the board. Yeah.
Bam.
So if you want to hang out with a few players and other Sounders
Us.
associated people, Mark will unfortunately be here, probably with headphones running a board.
I'm going to drag
But-
some of those, bunch of the Sounder Heart staff here. We're going to auction run Sounder Heart for a day again. We're going to do some other fun stuff as well. Emily's listening. I might talk Emily into drawing something for you.
That'd be cool.
We're going to do Sounder Heart every year has been more and more involved in the SonarFeed FIFA tournament.
We
and we're
appreciate
to
that.
blow
Love you
it
guys.
out.
Blow. What? Can you repeat that?
Out.
Blow
It
out.
so
Um,
sorry.
Yeah, and like we're gonna get players here. There are going to be starters for your Seattle Sounders FC playing video games with you on April 2nd.
And trying to beat you into submission.
They're gonna crush you because
With
that's
Chad
all
Marshall.
they do on the road.
Yeah.
At
Literally.
forward.
Chad Marshall at Ford. Anyway, no. So I think what Aaron, who I'm bummed that he's not here to talk about
Miss
this
you,
because
dude.
he's super
Let's
hype
get
about
in-
it.
get
But
you over here.
we'll get into it in the coming weeks.
Yes.
We'll probably have tightened up a lot of the auction things,
Yeah.
but we're upping the ante on the stuff that you're going to have access to. So there's some awesome people that have already ask to be involved before we ever ask them.
Yeah, we're blessed.
And you heard it here
Blessed.
first from
Hashtag blessed.
Dave to bring it and do some really cool stuff. So April 2nd, I'm guessing we'll probably start some of the early rounds like late morning.
Yeah.
And then probably start the show 1 o'clock or something along those lines. So still working out some of the little logistical details, but put it on your calendar, Sunday, April 2nd.
Last year, a full third of the first team were here.
We're
for
here.
It.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, if it's this cold, I'm not doing a dunk
It won't be
tank.
this cold in April. Maybe in March.
Not April.
And by the way, that's a hot weekend too. Atlanta United, first match
Friday
against
night?
them Friday night. A Friday night actually at the Sounders. So
Yeah.
take Saturday off to recover your bones and come on out to the Berliner.
Pub league.
Yeah. Damn it. Mark and I have pub league on Saturday. I'll probably run them pretty hard because I'm coaching, which is
One of
scary
my
for Mark.
favorite ever SonarFeed things was friend of the show, Lisa, put together some
Bookworm?
like handmade foosball things.
Oh, that's right. That was fantastic.
Dowels and cardboards inside a shoebox. And
a fun thing for the
Liam's kid
kids.
was playing,
Christian.
and Christian rolled down, walked up, and played
Oh, yeah.
shoebox foosball with like a 3-year-old kid. And if you want to know about the connections that this club makes with its community, it's stuff like the Zach Scott
That's actually
testimonial,
one of the better
and the
examples.
SonarFeed
Yeah.
Yeah.
tournament. It's it's Christian Roldan walking into YachtCon 2 while his interview is airing on the air. It's Stefan Fry walking into YachtCon 2 and saying, "Hey, here are my training gloves. Can you just add them to the auction, please?"
Which was fantastic.
LFG.
It's Lamar Nagel now that he's with. He's done it with Montreal, where
He's
at
in
DC United.
DC. Mark.
And and it's him
sure it's not
participating
Montreal?
in this event remotely
From afar. Yeah.
via Skype.
70%.
It's the academy kids showing up.
Seriously, though.
It's the academy grads. Dom. Solo. They show, and the reason they show is because when you're a Sounder, you're not just a soccer player that wears rave green and Sounder blue, Cascade shale, and whatever word they apply to white. The Sounders are people of the Sound. They participate. It's a community that they're part of. You talk to Stefan Fry, he loves this city. And this city is part of why he chose to become a citizen of the United States. When you talk to Brad Evans, it's clear his home is Puget Sound.
I will say, being around Seattle sports for all my life, there's never been another team that has participated in the community quite to the extent that the Sounders do. And I know the Seahawks do a lot, especially Russell Wilson going to a place that took care of me in my early life at Children's Hospital. And I much appreciate that they do that. But the Sounders, I feel like, are another level with a connection to our community. They are
it's
part of it.
One of the great advantages, Tom and I talk about this a lot, both on the air and off the air, of the Sounders being in kind of the economic spot where they are. They still live in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They're part of us and one of us. And one of the sad things is when you get to the Mariners level of salary or the NFL level, the Seahawks level of salary, they're living in neighborhoods none of us are in. They go to bulk events.
Right.
The Sounders have great advantages.
Well, I think the difference,
in that.
though, you'll maybe always have with soccer is you do homegrown a lot of players, and we're in a soccer market. I mean, we're not Southern California, but at the end of the day, like, we do grow soccer players here. So I'm hopeful that at a minimum, we have Jordan Morris's for days.
So you're saying I still have a chance?
So April 2nd,
No.
SonarFeed FIFA Tournament 17. We're going to see everybody who listens to this show and their best friends. And then next week, we've got, again, Schmetzer, This Is Your Life, Market Arms, tomorrow night. That's Tuesday.
Yep.
I've got one more event
I know which one it is.
for next
Tuesday.
week. Next Tuesday at a place that I tend to
Your
frequent.
favorite of all time.
At Flat Stick Pub.
Brad
Brad
Evans.
Evans and Brad and Becky Evans are hosting
Kirkland.
Kirkland, yes.
Kirkland Flat Stick, not Pioneer Square.
Correct. They are hosting Putts for Pets 2017,
I
which
wonder who's
is
gonna go.
for Seattle Humane Society. You can check it out, seattlehumane.org.
Mermaid's thinking like, oh, can I make that?
This is a hot 10 days, yo.
Seriously.
It's
That's
the
why I
time.
say all the money. You have
And-
away tickets going on sale. You've got all these events. You've got auctions.
It doesn't matter what you like. If you like something that's remotely Sounders related,
Right.
I only like Sounders if there's dogs involved.
there you
Oh,
go.
I can go to Flat Stick Pub.
Yeah.
And one of the awesome things, it's pretty apparent, Nick Raimondo, who has played with Brad Evans on the U.S. national team, is going to have something there.
He
'Cause
posted
Yeah.
that
some stuff
dude-
up.
I saw that.
What?
That dude
That
started
was
tweeting about it
fantastic.
too. And it's like,
He will remain one of the people that I
I can't hate
highly
Nick Raimondo.
respect in our league.
Nick Raimondo.
Even though
Yeah.
I hate him when he's on the
I hate him.
field.
Yeah.
I hate him when
dude.
we have to play against him.
But he's
But other than
quality
that,
man.
he's a fantastic person.
Yeah.
Shout out, Nick. You probably don't watch the show.
But
Shout out
I'm
to
gonna
him.
tag
There.
you because we mentioned you.
So we got a lot of
We
a
might
lot
have
of
an
events.
RSL front office person because they stalk me.
nice.
So we got a lot of events in the next
Does
week.
he like Pearl Jam?
Dude, it is crazy week.
No, different
Anything?
one. I'll tell you that story
Charmaine,
later.
anything you want to add to that? No? Are you going to go to any of these?
Shemaine will be
Noise! You heard it here
Shemaine
first.
actually held scissors to my neck, saying that she had to work Saturday, and so we needed to move it to Sunday.
Shemaine, can we auction off haircuts? Can we auction off haircuts?
Or a
Shemaine is
haircut,
an awesome stylist.
or
She's thinking about it.
color.
But I swear to God, if you try and make an
She
appointment on a
does-
Tuesday at 5:30, and I
She
can't
does
make
hair
it,
for
Yeah.
three
What a
people at this
rape
table.
queen or
We're going
blue.
to devolve this conversation right
We'll talk
now.
about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
So anyway, so loop back up. So we got a busy week this week. Next week's show I think is going to be super interesting.
We'll have a game to review.
have had-
we're gonna have
We
a
haven't had
lot
a
to
game to
talk
review in
about.
I
2
know I
months.
have a meeting
Oh
at
my
6 p.m.
God,
So I'm going to
no.
be super late.
How do you have a meeting?
I didn't schedule it. Sounders did.
Fuckers.
Yeah. Anyway,
Don't they know who you are?
clearly
They
not.
need to know that Mondays.
Yeah.
I have city
Ugo
council.
actually moved a city council meeting.
Not necessarily a city
For
council
SonarFeed.
meeting, but a
It's
very
close.
Your
closely
turn.
related meeting
Right.
to that.
Anyway,
It's going to be awesome, dude. So we are just days away from defending the MLS
Let's
Cup.
go!
seriously.
We
So-
are the defending champions.
So we'll be singing, oh my God, the MLS Cup's going to be at the 90. So in the next 3 days, you could see MLS Cup 3 times.
Thanks, Sean.
So tomorrow,
All day art
you
walk.
could see Brian Schmetzer, This Is Your Life at Market Arms. Wednesday, MLS Cup at Zach Scott Testimonial.
MrSounder.com.
Thursday is
Mark
First
shaves the thing off
Thursday
his face.
Art Walk in Pioneer Square. So hit up the 90, and that's free.
Yeah.
So while we would
a
like you
bunch
to...
of their posters for the people
Oh, yeah.
are gonna artists are gonna be there talking about the posters for the people they did last year.
Nice.
Some great
I heard that
talent.
Emily was doing one.
MLS watercolors might be involved in art
Yeah.
projects with the team and not just Sounder art.
That's a rumor. Anyway,
Good news, there are only 30 people listening, Emily, and you're not firing me for that.
so anyway, so
Busy
this
week.
week you have 3 options of seeing the MLS Cup.
Let's go.
Don't screw it up.
You seriously cannot. screw
Anything
this
else
up.
you want to talk about? Since we're only 12 minutes beyond our normal allotted time.
There's a birthday here for like 3 different people at the same time.
Is that what's going on inside?
Yeah. So thanks again to the Berliner Pub
Yeah.
down in
Yet again.
Old Town Renton,
Ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve, yeah.
where
Ahead
we're
of the
ahead of the
curve.
curve. They just kind of revamped their menu a little bit, and if you're outside,
Cheesecake is
order one of their
delicious.
hot winter cocktails, like you
Get
know
it,
and I
get
did.
it in a liter,
Yeah.
and then call a Uber.
Tom, do you think it'll take us 3 hours to get home?
Probably not. Let's hope not, because
We're gonna have
I
an
don't want to
awesome
fill my tank
season.
again.
This month is going to be amazing, and that's part of what being champions.
this is a good time. It's not that we don't always walk into a new season like psyched for whatever the heck it's going to be, but
We got a little
this
extra pep in our step.
generation of Sounder fans have not had what we have right now.
Exactly.
So let's go.
Let's go. LFC.
Oh yeah!
Yeah.
Let's go. As we get beer
Peace
delivered. Out, y'all.
Later.
Yeah. See you guys next week. Love this. Oh, man, this is the week.